reading this. I'm coming north. This has been quite a journey for my family and I. Set out as a journey of self-realization for the boys, for me, for those we came in contact with, and just the lessons and the inspiration keeps getting deeper. I wanted to share a profound insight I had yesterday about healing and what it means to be healed. Because I believe the healing process is an ever ongoing process of self-actualization, of self-love, of realizing our worth. That wounds, as we've called them, are something that all of humanity have and have had throughout all of time, throughout all of our lifetimes, throughout our ancestry. That it's just an inherent part of being human that we've been wounded. Whether we're wounded in an actual physical battle, or whether the wounds are emotional or mental or spiritual, psychic wounds are also a thing. But the process of healing does not mean that those wounds are completely eliminated. Even when we have a physical wound, we often have a scar that remains, and the scar does not make us less perfect. Yeah, I said I'm going outside to do a video. And this child right now. Okay, I'm live. You can be on my video if you'd like. This is a wound happening right now.
You hurt me!
Okay, how did he hurt you? Let's talk about this.
He poked me in the eye.
Uh-oh.
Ow!
Let me see your eyes.
Ow!
They definitely are watering,
Ow!
and they probably hurt. But I bet they're going to be okay. But you can still be hurting. That's fine. I'm actually talking about our wounds and owning our wounds and owning the pain. So this is a perfect example because sometimes we feel this, what he's expressing inside as a grown-up, but we don't cry. We don't say the thing. We don't walk around making the noises that a young child feels comfortable making. And that doesn't mean that we are totally healed. It just means we've learned to manage, or we've learned to utilize the potency of our wound to actualize ourselves. And this is an important element. I think sometimes we think the healing process means we made it all better, and now we're just shiny and new. That isn't always how it looks. In fact, I think that's rarely how it looks. When we own our wounds, we recognize that they also empower us to come from the place that we do. And we begin to draw people into our lives who have similar wounds. That's how the healing process works. And so when someone comes to us with a wound, and we have a familiarity with the wound, then parts of the healing begin to take place for whoever it is needed for, usually for both. But if there is some unprocessed emotions or feelings or anger or resentment or any kind of thing like that, that can surface in either parties as well. And that isn't a bad thing. That's actually a beautiful thing. That's actually the purpose of coming together, is to assist one another in the actualization process.
Ow!
Yeah, so
Ow!
I think we have a great overcoming to do as humans right now in the idea of what healing means. And that is that we have shunned much of these negative feelings, these negative emotions, that they're not actually negative. They're just the opposite end of the spectrum of what we've been, reaching for and making out to be the object of our affection.
This is the part where it hurt me.
Okay.
That red.
Did it bring more attention to your eye when he hurt you?
It hurt.
Yeah. Hello, Mark. Thank you for joining. I'm glad these different feelings we have, they are part of the journey. Hello, Michael. Welcome. And anyone else who's joining, thank you for being here. I think the more we begin to own that all textures of humanness are part of this, then we stop judging one another, like calling something an unhealed wound just is simply acknowledging that we ourselves have unhealed things, and that we will see our stuff in the eyes of others, and that our wounds are what make us beautiful, actually. They are the things that give us our texture. They
Look,
give
Mama,
us,
hummingbird.
yeah, they give us our depth. They allow us our vision. They afford us our insight and our feelings, our ability to have compassion, and to stand and allow when another needs space to actualize in their loving of themselves.
Wowie, ow, ow.
So, remembering that healing doesn't entail totally returning to a state where that thing never happened. Do you need to keep saying owie for attention? Even though we're doing a video? Do you want everyone in the whole wide world to hear about your owie? Or are you good now with the crying you've done?
Ow.
He's not good with the crying he's done, so he wants to... So the question I'm getting is, should I release all my past aggressiveness? So release is an interesting thing, because release is a natural process, like when you get a massage, and there is a muscular release, then there's an energy release that occurs. Same like with an acupressure point. You know, there'll be a natural release. But to say, do I need to release this particular emotion, I think the first thing we need to do is integrate it and accept that it's part of us, that it's part of the experience that we've had. And then once we can love that part of ourselves and accept that that has been part of ourselves and that it still makes up part of our texture, then things will naturally shift for us. They will naturally begin to change. So even right now, as I'm loving even the owie part of him that's showing up where he wants to keep saying it, I'm just going to keep loving him anyway, and he'll naturally want to shift that at some point. He'll want to shift that into a different emotion, but until he does, you know, and if you still have resistance to certain parts of your personality or happenings, then I'm going to suggest loving that part of yourself. And if you're seeing if you can love that part of you, because we're only going to decide we don't like something in another if it's still in us. You know, other people highlight where we have things we have not yet loved about ourselves. And this is less about healing something. You know, the healing process is the integration, the acceptance, and the love and adoration for ourselves in all of our textures, where we can then do that for another person. We can love a person in all of their textures.
Mommy.
And so,
Mommy.
and Mark, you and I can talk about this in a session. I'm going to go ahead and give my attention back to my boy, because we're on our trip, we're getting ready to go, and I just really wanted to share that part. So thank you for checking in, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for checking.
I don't appreciate when